أئمتنا وولاة أمورنا اللهم ول أمورنا خيارنا أمورنا شرارنا برحمتك نستغيث يا غياث المستغيثين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
This is Channels Television. You are on to the live broadcast of the declaration by Pastor Tunde Bakare for the position of the president ahead of the 2023 general election. The event is taking place at the Yaradua Center here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Sit back and enjoy.
Eternal Rock of Ages, we are grateful for today that is called this day. It is a day you have made in which you have ordained that we should rejoice and be glad. Thank you for your plans for a great country that was settled before the foundation of the world. Ever before Nigeria was crafted, you had a plan. Lord, we're just now here as lively stones to affect other dead stones that together will become a living stone for a generation. Lord, nobody can receive anything except it be given of him by God. And that's what we're here to receive in your great name. That, Lord, our nation, Nigeria, that has been at the cesspit of underdevelopment and poverty and penury, might rise again. Lord, we're here that Nigeria will be great again. That our great country will start and join the Committee of Nations to bring to pass the plans that you have had for us from eternal past. Everlasting God, we invite you to come. This is your place of rest. Please come, O God, you and the ark of your strength. Let your power be abundant here. Let everything that we do here today bring you glory. After all, we are created for your pleasure. Lord, we want to bring you maximum pleasure today. Let heaven rejoice over us today. Our prayer is in Jesus' name, and God's people say aloud, amen.
Thank you. Thank you both. Okay, once again, we'd just like to welcome the man of the moment, Dr. Tunde Bakare and Mrs. Bakare, to this very, very important occasion which Dr. Bakare has assembled us for. Once again, please, a round of applause for them. Okay, I would now like to call on Architect Shola Adesoye to come and give the welcome address.
Your Excellencies, citizens of our great country here and the diaspora, welcome you to this historic declaration by our principal, Dr. Tunde Bakare. Today is the beginning of the journey of restoring the foundations of our nation and providing direction for our great country, Nigeria. Today, like never before, we need to work together to build a nation where everyone, no matter who they are and where they come from, north, east, west, and south, can thrive. Working together, I believe we can build a nation that works for us with a visionary leader who will build a new promise for our nation and ensure that every Nigerian feels the positive impact of government and governance. Today is also historic in nature, as on this day in 1987, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Nigerian lawyer and politician, died. Obafemi Awolowo, GCFR, was a Nigerian nationalist who played a key role in Nigeria's independence movement and ensured the entrenchment of policies that laid the foundation for our principal political ideology. Nation building goes beyond having a sovereign state with a constitution, but having national social systems, an integrated national economy, shared symbols and values, and equality. It must be founded on eradicating the divisions and injustices to foster unity with a shared sense of national identity, built on elements that tie people together to promote one nationhood, with embedded countrywide consciousness that harnesses the diversities, strengths, and opportunities for our citizens. Dr. Tunde Bakare is an eminent national and global leader who breathes and lives for a new Nigeria. As he declares his intentions today, we look forward to him leading the new Nigeria in the service of the citizens of this great nation. I welcome you all once again.
Thank you so much, Architect Adesoye. So today in history, fans would be interested to, again, make the connection that Architect Adesoye made there about another great Nigerian, that's our Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Right, I'd like to call on Miss Oluchi Emenike to come up now and entertain us with some spoken words. Please, let's welcome her with a round of applause.
I fell asleep only moments ago, so why am I wide awake? I pinch myself. Is this reality? Where am I? What is this place? A land divided by many waters, with trees, with sturdy branches that brush the belly of the cotton clouds and blue skies. Their leaves of verdant green. I stumble through the vegetation, searching for any sign of civilization. Eventually, I break through the barrier of trees, and behold, a world so familiar, but so distant. And I see children. They wash their hands of the labor they endured beneath the glaring African sun. They leave the streets and enter classrooms. They replace their tools of labor for pencils to write and books to read. Their once bloated bellies are soft and plump with breakfast. Their young feet no longer callous from wandering on sun-beaten roads. They are seated and learning. And though some were rich and some were poor, they all sang the same song. Girls walk to school without fear. Young boys can dream of a better future that is certain. Parents are no longer sick with worry for their children who play on the street till sunset. I inhale deeply and as clean air fills my lungs, my heart is pervaded by the warmth of freedom. In the distance, I hear the hum of machinery and a forming crowd. I move closer to the sound, moving past the throng of bodies. Around me, people celebrate, saying, our refineries are working again. Our rubber factories and textile factories are bustling again. We are mining and producing more metals than ever. There is so much joy. There are jobs, and most importantly, dignity in labor. The youth are free to think, to innovate, and the old, they have legacies to nurture, to cultivate. And I see men and women, each looking different from one another, yet the unity amongst them is a force stronger than language or culture. Their difference is a fuel for the raging fire of their success. They sing and dance in the streets, hundreds of languages melting into one beautiful symphony. And I see streams flowing from the north to the south and from the south to the north. People drink from clear waters and eat from the fruit of the land. There is no strife, no kidnapping, no rumors of war, just people celebrating in peace. And I see men and women with bodies strong and healthy like the oak tree. They stand firm in trying times, not letting greed soil their garments. People think of what they can do for the nation and not what the nation can do for them. A land of patriots who are not ashamed of where they come from. They no longer danced to the neo-colonial tune of brain drain. And I see a leader, a man of dignity, honor, and integrity. He's the driving force for the success of the land. His cloak is not tainted with corruption, tribalism, or nepotism. And I see it was just a dream. The Nigeria of my dreams. I look into your eyes and I see that you too have had that same dream, and you, and you, and you. Oh, this cannot remain a dream. Can I really leave that utopia behind and return to the reality that the sunrise brings? No! No! Who can make this dream a reality? Who can dream as I have dreamt and turn these images of sand to firm images of concrete? Dare I dream? Yes. Yes, I dare to dream, because reality begins with a dream.
I'm sure we will agree that's a very, very powerful, powerful performance. We're a nation. Thank you. Please, let's give her another round of applause. I will not soon forget. Honestly, it's very, very touching. And to come from one so young, should surely give us the hope that we will need to build the country of our dreams. We need to start laying the foundations. It's like planting a tree, they say. You plant the tree not so that you might enjoy its shades, but you do it so that somebody else tomorrow will enjoy the shade. And if we continue in that light, we would have succeeded in setting down mechanisms that will, birth a powerful nation. But talking about the arts, there have been some disturbing conversations going on recently about, the conduct of certain Nigerians, what we do, what we don't do. We are questioning our moral and principle standing. I believe we are not using the arts well enough, because the arts are the most powerful medium of education. Not to have somebody like me come and stand in front of a hall and tell a group of young kids what is right and what is not right. I think we need to use the arts a lot more. Take music, for example. Music is a strong system of messaging. What are we doing with music in Nigeria? What are the youth listening to? Because it is miseducating them in some instances. I believe we can do more in that regard. And it's for this very reason, we need people who are grounded in principles, people with very, very strong character, to form a vanguard that would lead the nation into a better light. Nation building is not an organic thing, it's a deliberate thing. And few men and women have what it takes to make it happen. But I believe we can do more using the arts by way of educating our youth. Right, in light of that, I would now like to call to the stage a very, very important lady. I talked about the importance of family. So many public officials, we know them, we watch them, we criticize them, we praise them, but we don't pay any heed to the people from where they draw their strengths. That's their families. Their families play very, very strong roles. So lucky are those servants of the country who have very strong family bases. Dr. Bakare is one such person, I can assure you. And it's my pleasure to welcome up on stage now Mrs. Tunde Bakare to come and usher in the man of the moments. Please, let's rise to our feet as we honor and welcome her.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You may please be seated. All protocols duly observed. It gives me great pleasure to bring on stage my devoted husband. My husband of 38 years. And the father of our children. He is so passionate about this nation, and he loves Nigerians, home and abroad. Please rise with me again as I bring PTB to the stage. To you, he is PTB, but to me, he is GB. PTB for president. We welcome you.
You may please be seated. Distinguished citizens of our great nation, please bear with us. May I borrow your mic, please? Distinguished citizens of our great nation, Nigeria, elder statesmen and stateswomen, political leaders from across geopolitical zones and party lines, policymakers and bureaucrats from the national and subnational levels of government, representatives of civil society, private sector stakeholders, the intelligentsia, opinion molders and thought leaders from various institutions of knowledge, students and youth, the posterity of this great nation, Nigerians at home and in the diaspora, joining us via various platforms, media platforms, friends of Nigeria across the African continent and the world, ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you to this distinguished gathering. Very early this morning, a dear friend of mine sent me a poem that captures the very essence of our gathering today. Please permit me to share it with you, though you may know it already. It reads, and I quote, "Rivers do not drink their own water. Trees do not eat their own fruit. The sun does not shine on itself, and flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We are all born to help each other. No matter how difficult it is, life is good when you are happy, but much better when others are happy because of you." Today we converge in our nation's capital to collectively take a historic step towards the realization of a possible Nigeria. When our founding patriots resolved to live as one nation under God, they had a dream of a Nigeria whose diverse peoples will be knitted together, though tribes and tongues may differ. A nation bound in freedom and peace, and a people united against the common enemies of poverty, corruption, and insecurity. A Nigeria where the little boy in Abeokuta where I was born, and the Almajiri in Sokoto State where I lived as a child, will find common ground in the quest for a future worth looking forward to. In Nigeria, where the fishermen in Okwama Kingdom in Bayelsa State, on whose creeks I was once hosted like a brother, will find a common purpose with the cattle owner in Kano, in whose city have built enduring friendships. In Nigeria, where the enterprising men and women of Onitsha some with whom I've built businesses who have the absolute liberty to build successful enterprises anywhere in the country. In Nigeria, we are the Christians of Jos and Southern Kaduna, several of whom I've sat with and prayed for in the search for justice and reconciliation, who live in peace and harmony with the Muslims in Jos and Northern Kaduna, with whom I share a common Islamic history. In the course of decades of diverse nation-building engagements with the Nigerian people across the nation, from representing individuals and businesses as a lawyer trained by Chief Gani Fahimi, GCON, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and Chief Rotimi Williams, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, to building businesses across diverse sectors, including manufacturing and aviation, from bearing the burdens of individuals and families, and speaking truth to power as a pastor, to improving healthcare delivery in communities, and facilitating transformation in education outcomes, from leading reformatory civil society movements on the platform of the Save Nigeria Group, SNG, across the states of the Federation, and mediating in inter-ethnic and communal clashes in some of Nigeria's conflict hotbeds, to campaigning as a vice presidential candidate. In the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, I have seen enough to realize that the Nigerian dream is not yet the reality of most Nigerians, with whom I'm forever conjoined far beyond the bond of geography. I can relate to the 9-year-old walking to and from the public tap day after day to fetch 64 pails of water to make ends meet. I've been there. I recognize the relentless drive that propels young people to do odd jobs, from being a washerman to washing plates at restaurants. I've been there. The man who lays his head under the bridge after a hard day labor is a kindred spirit. I've been there too. I've walked in the shoes of those young men and women of Nigeria who were first in their families to attend and sponsor themselves through university. I too have walked the paths of hunger, poverty, and shame. And that is why the vast majority of Nigerians who live with these realities remain my family, my brothers, my sisters, east, west, north, or south. I stand here before you today, mindful of the realities, but hopeful enough to offer myself as a bridge connecting the dreams of our founding patriots to the highway of every Nigerian dream, the ones deferred and the ones you still wake up to each morning. A bridge between today's Nigeria and the one you know is possible. I stand here today to acknowledge that the realization of my dreams was facilitated by Nigeria. I first saw the four walls of a classroom only because Nigeria footed the bill and asked me only to serve her with love, strength, and faith in return. It is not coincidental, neither is it an accident, that the same day Chief Obafemi Awolowo left the planet Earth is the same day I'm making this declaration. The bedrock for all I will become was laid by an inclusive free education policy and gave me a head start despite abject lack. Nigeria made many of the stories for my generation possible, so we cannot now in good conscience bequeath anything less than a new Nigeria in which every dream is possible. The inadequacies of the Nigerian experience have kept propelling me to seek lasting solutions, and have led me from the grassroots to Aso Rock in my quest to be a reconciliatory bridge between what was, what is, and what should be. With the utmost fidelity to truth and integrity, I've remained committed to engaging the government at the highest level. For President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, not only did we mobilize Nigerians through the Save Nigeria group at a time of great confusion to ensure he became the substantive president in Nigeria, we also provided him with a framework to save and transform Nigeria, work with him on efforts to re-engineer Nigeria's governance structure, and supported him through a difficult transition process in 2015. Thank you. As running mate to the then General Muhammadu Buhari in the 2011 election, the current president and I designed a framework to rebuild Nigeria and make Nigeria work for every Nigerian. That framework was adopted as a manifesto of the Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, and will form the bedrock of the manifesto of APC. The thrust of that framework was the re-engineering of Nigeria towards the emergence of 6 geo-economic powerhouses that can compete with world-class cities, a well-structured and a well-governed nation that will guarantee the security and welfare of every Nigerian. It is not too late, ladies and gentlemen, for this dream and others like it to come to pass. Fellow Nigerians, I'm not here to gloss over your disappointments or ignore the fact that even the most genuine efforts of government over the decades have not taken away your pain, my pain, and our pain. I, for one, can relate to the frustrations of Nigerian businesses and business owners as they lose around $29 billion annually to poor electricity. Even as we count the gains of such projects as the Presidential Power Initiative, I cannot ignore the glaring reality that even my best intentions and my modest contributions have barely been a drop in an ocean of possibilities. Yet, I've continued to rise to the occasion. I've continued to participate. I've continued to insist, whether by running for the office of Student Union President as a young man at the University of Lagos, UNILAG, or by collaborating with eminent stakeholders at such fora as the 2014 Centenary National Conference, whether by propagating the promise of the new Nigeria from universities to think tanks around the world, or by building businesses that employ Nigerians, I've continued to find ways within the limits of private citizenship to improve the status quo. Today, I'm offering myself to close the distance between the Nigerian reality and every Nigerian dream, to unlock the power of public policy, to accelerate transformation, to infuse our young people with a surge of hope for what is possible, to roll my sleeves up and work hard to solve Nigeria's most intractable problems, to build a cutting-edge nation at the forefront of innovation, to create a new dynamic of belonging in which everyone has a seat and a say. I'm committed to the realization of a new Nigeria for every Nigerian in my lifetime. This is why I'm formally announcing that I'm running for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm running for that office on the platform of All Progressive Congress, APC, in the 2023 elections. Thank you. As president, my administration will deliver on 4 mandates. Please be seated. By the grace of God, we will deliver on 4 mandates, namely peace, progress, prosperity, and possibilities. Say that with me. Peace, progress, prosperity, and possibilities. Let me start with the peace mandate. The peace mandate will achieve our policy thrust on nationhood, leadership, governance, and national security. Through the peace mandate, we will reconcile and reintegrate the Nigerian people into true nationhood, galvanize a broad-based and competent leadership that can unify Nigeria and harness our potential, enormous potential, lead our nation on a pragmatic pathway to governance structure reforms, end the scourge of insecurity, and guarantee the safety and security of every Nigerian within Nigeria's borders. We will address the grave wounds of the past and present and lay to rest the politics of suspicion. Towards achieving true nationhood, among other policies and programs, we will establish the Presidential Commission for National Reconciliation, Reintegration, and Rebirth, whose board of trustees will consist of 3 eminent Nigerians from each of our 6 geopolitical zones. These 18 Nigerians with brick-building antecedents will include traditional monarchs, former heads of states, religious leaders, statesmen and stateswomen, while ensuring representation of youth and vulnerable groups. This commission will be mandated to, within the first 100 days of our administration, engage every aggrieved group in Nigeria and secure their commitment to dialogue for true nationhood. Then within 2 years, the commission will acknowledge and reconcile every past and current national and subnational group grievance and foster the integration of the diverse sectional groups in Nigeria into true nationhood. Peace will not just be a word on our coat of arms, it will become the Nigerian reality. To give Nigeria the leadership we need at this time, I will spearhead governance with adequate presidential political will. In relation to the legislative and judicial arms of government, I will respect the ideal of separation of powers while providing the presidential backing to legislative agendas and as the Constitution permits the president. I will also respect the rule of law and the independence of the judiciary. To act above the law will be beneath my office and will be a betrayal of my training as a lawyer. As the executive leader of the nation, I will not lead alone. Through decades of engagement as a nation builder, I've worked with diverse teams of Nigeria's best and brightest across within Nigeria and in the diaspora, drawn from every geographical zone in Nigeria. Therefore, as president, I will create an enabling environment that stimulates and rewards passion and ingenuity. I will also work with political leaders in our party and across party lines who have demonstrated exceptional commitment to the national interest. In addition to this core team of technocrats and political leaders, we mobilize a pool of competent Nigerians at home and in the diaspora into a national human capital database. We will deploy these leaders to every sector of public governance with clearly defined performance indicators and evaluation metrics. Nigeria will be a nation in which the best, the brightest, the fittest, and the most competent are once again attracted into public office, from the highest office in the land to the offices in your local government. The youth of Nigeria will no longer be left out of leadership in Nigeria. My cabinet will be one of the most intergenerational in Nigeria's history, and my administration will also vitalize the Not Too Young to Run Act by instituting a presidential young leaders program that will attract, train, mentor, appoint, and back young Nigerian men and women to run for office. As we embark on governance reforms, we will make Nigeria a cutting-edge nation, a nation in which government is nimble and agile, proximal in impact, technology facilitated, knowledge-driven, wisdom-governed, service-oriented, and local in outlook. To achieve this, we will implement public sector reforms towards efficient and effective ministries, departments, and agencies, leveraging existing studies and recommendations. Furthermore, we will provide political leadership towards a pragmatic approach to constitutional reforms, with a view to decentralizing governance, devolving powers to subnational governments, empowering local governments, strengthening the federal government's capacity to facilitate national development, and empowering the Nigerian people to contribute to constitutional reform through referendums. Fellow Nigerians, government will become more mobile and will come closer to you. On national security, first of all, I must acknowledge members of the armed forces, including the military, the police, the intelligence agencies, and the paramilitary and civil defense agencies who daily lay down their lives in the defense of our people and territory. I want to remind you that once upon a time, the Nigerian armed forces led in ensuring peace in West African environment. They went to fight in foreign nations to stabilize those countries, and out of Nigerian military leaders became heads of military of other nations. We are going to bring that glory back once again. To boost their effort, we will rebuild our national security architecture to adequately identify, anticipate, and address our security threats. The new national security architecture will see the strengthening of the intelligence system to include an independent office of the Director of National Intelligence that will coordinate all the intelligence agencies. They are not going to be hold here and hold there without any connectivity. In addition, the Nigerian Police Force, NPF, will be reconstituted into a more modern, fully equipped, and technology-enabled National Bureau of Investigation, NBI, with federal jurisdiction. The federal policing architecture will be supported by subnational policing systems, which will in turn be supported to form interstate zonal commissions. Furthermore, we will invest in surveillance technologies, deploy border sensors and drones, and harness the National Identity Management Scheme to detect and prevent threats to national security. We will reactivate the blueprint for such world-class military training that once gave Nigeria highly competent armed forces as newly independent nation. With our reforms, we will have a highly equipped, technology-empowered, adequately remunerated, and highly skilled police service and armed forces for whom respect for human rights is non-negotiable. We secure our borders, streets, and highways and lay the groundwork for accelerated progress. That is the peace mandate. The progress mandate. Through the progress mandate, we will cater to human development sectors, including education, healthcare, and family and social development. Under the progress mandate, we will alleviate poverty in the short term by offering safety nets to our most vulnerable while implementing long-term policy for poverty eradication. We also develop a healthy and highly skilled workforce that will drive our national growth and developmental objectives. Furthermore, under this mandate, we'll protect the vulnerable and foster equity and social inclusiveness in access to opportunities. As part of a broader range of policies, we'll achieve the progress mandate by establishing in each geo-economic zone a medical city with health industry clusters affiliated to the children's hospitals as well as the secondary and primary health centers in each zone. This will improve the quality of healthcare delivery in tertiary, secondary, and primary health centers across the country, and will provide incentives for our doctors and nurses to practice here in Nigeria. In addition, we'll broaden the scope of the National Health Insurance Scheme to ensure that no Nigerian life is dispensable. Our medical cities will give the primary school teacher access to the same quality of healthcare that is currently available only to those who can afford to travel to cities like Dubai. Furthermore, under the progress mandate, we will launch and educate to industrialize Nigeria, the EIN agenda, educate to industrialize Nigeria, which will see a productive linkage between academia and industrial clusters in each geo-economic zone. This will boost research, attract funds to our universities and polytechnics, and ensure that our students are equipped for the opportunities of the 21st century. The output of our institutions will be graduates who are equipped not only with degrees and predictable pipelines of jobs, but also with actionable and fundable business plans should they opt for an entrepreneurial pathway. In line with the EIN agenda, we'll prioritize funding the education sector through the Tertiary Education Trust Fund and the Universal Basic Education Intervention Fund. In addition, under the progress mandate, we'll ensure women's representation that meets and surpasses the 35% recommendations of the National Gender Policy in public sector appointments. We'll further adopt an inclusive policy that will unleash the multifaceted potential of the Nigerian youth, as well as harness the skills and competencies of persons living with disabilities. The prosperity mandate. The prosperity mandate will cater to our policy thrust on economic management and infrastructure delivery. We will achieve the prosperity mandate by launching the Nigerian Geoeconomic Development Plan, NGDP, on day one of my inauguration as president. The Nigerian Geoeconomic Development Plan, NGDP, is a new way of looking at our GDP. Therefore, you will be right to refer to it as a new GDP. Guided by the NGDP, we will rebuild Nigeria's economy around 6 competitive geo-economic zones triple Nigeria's GDP to 1.5 trillion by the year 2030. $1.5 trillion. We will industrialize Nigeria around the hub and spoke model of industrialization. This will see the emergence of industrial cities in each geoeconomic zone made of several industrial clusters. The industrial clusters will in turn be linked to feeder hubs and enterprise zones in the new respective regions. The NGDP will guide our policies, institutions, and investments across various sectors, including solid minerals, agriculture, manufacturing, and SMEs. Furthermore, as part of the progress mandate on infrastructure delivery, we will align the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan with the Nigerian Geoeconomic Development Plan. We will consolidate ongoing developments in transportation by redirecting investment towards a systematic and multimodal transportation agenda. I commune with one of the best economists I'd ever met in life, and I itemized for me amount of waste, amount of loss we encounter every day through traffic as you leave home to go to work, and you're not there in 4 hours and you're not back. Time, money is lost in the process. We can do like other nations. We have what it takes to do like other nations. That you can live in a Korea town and walk at the Victoria Island and get there in time and return home. That will reduce the cost of rentals, and everything about real estate will not be available to our common people. Through public-private partnerships, we'll build a 10-lane. Please hold me accountable for this. We've done enough research for it. We will build a 10-lane, 3,000-kilometer north-south superhighway, which will be systematically linked to regional roads and subways feeding each geo-economic zone. Still, as part of our infrastructure delivery agenda, we will execute a decentralized, private sector-driven electricity reform agenda that will see the generation of up to 100,000 megawatts of on-grid and off-grid electricity by 2030 as part of the Nigerian Geo-Economic Development Plan. We will do this, thank you, we will do this by broadening the national energy mix, harnessing geo-economic comparative advantages in energy generation, including solar, hydro, nuclear, thermal, natural gas, biomass, wind, and other energy resources, to attract competent investors from within and outside of the country. By the grace of God, the entire electricity value chain, from generation to transmission to distribution, will be integrated and progressively decentralized to allow for competitive subnational investments in that sector. Parts of the world are light years ahead of Nigeria. There must be, at the very least, light in Nigeria. Please shout, let there be light. That was the first order of recreation. Let there be light. I've lived in different nations of the world. I've lived in America. I've lived in the United Kingdom. I never met the company supplying electricity. All I do is pay my bills and I will have light. As we progress, we will so much make it easy for investors to come and to be able to distribute, and as many investors as we have will reduce the cost of electricity. You can look back to those days when telephone was only the possession of the rich, and now when that place was liberalized, my gardener, my cook, my driver, your neighbor, everybody has a phone. In Nigeria, there will be light. Finally, the possibilities mandate. The possibilities mandate will cater to our policy thrust in science, technology, and innovation, foreign policy, sustainability, and arts, culture, entertainment, and sports. The objectives of the possibilities mandate include Nigeria's leapfrogging as a leader in the fourth industrial revolution, as well as our emergence as a global hub of creative and cultural industries. It also includes projecting the elements of Nigeria's national power in defense of our national interests, protecting Nigerian citizens across the globe, and providing leadership on the African continent. In addition, the possibilities mandate is aimed at conserving Nigeria's national wealth and resources for the benefit of future generations, even as we meet the needs of the present generation of Nigerians. As part of a wide range of policies aimed at achieving the possibilities mandate, we will adopt a twofold foreign policy thrust, namely the trans-Saharan and the transatlantic thrusts. These twofold policy thrusts will roughly model the broad international influences that have shaped our relationship with the world since the pre-colonial era. Our foreign policy strategy will provide soft and hard power leverage in prosecuting the war against insurgency and terrorism. To further achieve the possibilities mandate, we will establish regional science, technology, and innovation parks in each of the 6 geo-economic regions in line with the Nigerian Geo-Economic Development Plan by the grace of God. In addition, we will institute an endowment fund and work with the private sector to turn our arts, culture, entertainment, tourism, and sports into our national assets. You'll be wondering, how would you finance this? Financing the Nigerian Geo-Economic Development Plan. How do you want to do it? To finance the Nigerian Geo-Economic Development Plan, NGDP, as president, I will be the marketer-in-chief of Nigeria's economic potential. I will lead Nigeria with the conviction that a clear-cut national vision can unleash our nation's enormous wealth. A bankable national business model, creatively and passionately communicated, can alter the flow of wealth in the direction of any nation. Through an aggressive focus on marketing the Nigerian economy that is based not on commodity prices, but our enormous potential, on the viability of the Nigerian Geo-Economic Development Plan, and on the integrity and ability of my administration, will attract $2 trillion worth of foreign and domestic direct investment to the Nigerian economy in current naira value in less than a decade. This network of both foreign and local is already on, waiting for the marching order when you give me your vote and I become your president. Imagine what we can do together when we mine real national wealth, not merely from the oil fields of the South, or the bitumen fields of the Southwest, or the coal mines of the Southeast, or the gold mines of the Northwest, or the fertile plains of the North Central, or the jam fields of the Northeast, but from the cumulative ideas of the Nigerian people at home and in diaspora. By embracing the cutting-edge philosophy of governance, which I will offer to Nigerians as president, we will together as a nation, with the help of God, build a new Nigeria for every Nigerian, where the individual capacities of our citizens converge towards the national interest, because men and women of integrity hold office and lay out a highly compelling national vision. A new Nigeria where no one goes to bed hungry and no child is left out of school without access to quality education. Where our homes, our schools, our streets, our villages, highways, and cities are safe and secure. And Nigerians can walk, play, or travel with their minds at rest and go to bed with their hearts at peace. In Nigeria, where our hospitals are life-saving institutions and every Nigerian has access to good quality health care, where youth are gainfully employed And our young men and women are job creators, where businesses thrive on innovation. And Made in Nigeria can compete anywhere in the global market, where homes and businesses have access to uninterrupted power supply, and ideas are facilitated by functional infrastructure and cutting-edge technology. Where no part of our nation, north, south, east, or west, feels marginalized, and every Nigerian is proud to say, I'm a Nigerian, a nation that will become like peace, the progress, the prosperity, and prosperity capital of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a presidential declaration. This is a proclamation of a new dawn. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. God bless you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
This is Channels Television. You've been watching our live coverage of Pastor Tunde Bakare's official declaration for the office of the President taking place in the nation's capital.
You've been watching the live transmission of